They were moving money. We're talking bags upon bags upon bags. Holy shit, there's a fucking cattle hauler coming in here at 100 miles an hour. We were playing wiffle ball. And then the cattle hadn't eaten in I don't know how many days. They almost ate him. At the end of the day, it turned out to be $13.6 million. People were killed because of that. The law enforcement on the on the southwest border were actually escorting loads of narcotics northbound and then money southbound.
So, and again, not all of law enforcement. We're talking about one, two handful of dirty cops.
We had one.
Okay.
One. So we talk about, how law enforcement is, they're terrible, they're corrupt, they're doing, no. It's kind of like any other industry, right? There's bad apples in every industry. So when you literally sit there and you just go, all cops are corrupt, all doctors are corrupt, all coaches are corrupt because, from a child exploitation kind of thing with a coach or something like that. No, that's not the perspective.
It's the 1 out of 1,000, the 1 out of 10,000.
Correct.
But they exist. We're not hiding that fact.
100%.
In this case, here's a case of one particular guy involved.
Here's a shining example.
Was he, and again, I don't know how much you can give out. This was
He was a sheriff's officer.
A deputy sheriff.
Yep, deputy sheriff in South Texas.
That was facilitating the delivery of both dope and the return of money, making sure it got safely across the border.
Correct, and overseeing operations in and around the Atlanta area.
Really?
Yeah, so
all the way from there.
Correct. Involved to the nth degree. And thankfully, he's still in prison.
And that definitely things escalate there when we have law enforcement involved. Yeah.
No question about it. We were doing surveillance in a very small town in South Georgia. It's about south of the airport, probably about, 15, 20 miles. And so we're doing surveillance, and I start to laugh because I'll be honest with you, this was probably the funnest 3 days, maybe 4 days of my life.
Okay.
So we're sitting there, and we hear on I've got some, they were using a lot of code, but we kind of figured out the code, and we knew what they were doing. They were moving money to a money house, and we already identified said money house. So we're sitting there, we're just going, okay, we know what's going on here. All right. So we set up surveillance. So we're doing surveillance, and we see the activity, and the funny thing is, it's a twofold thing. Everyone goes on vacation, right? So
even bad guys.
Even bad guys, and even case agents. Even law enforcement goes on vacation. So the case agent is actually on vacation. His co-case agent is sitting there, and he's now running the show. And I'm sitting there as a supervisor talking with him. What do you want to do? What do you want to do? So we hear the conversations going on, and we're seeing duffel bags being dropped off to couriers. From one courier to the next courier to stash house. So we're setting up on the stash house. So we got state and locals. They gear up. They go in on the ground. They got line of sight on the house. They're, they laid in for like 2 or 3 days because we were out there for 4. So the rest of us, right? And I feel bad for the guys that were in the ghillie suits.
Literally.
Oh, I don't mean to keep moving
No, that's
forward.
fine. But they're literally guys in ghillie suits.
Ghillie suits. Ghillie suits.
Getting as close as they can to the house.
Without going on the curtilage and violating all this other Fourth Amendment and everything else. So they're literally sitting there and they got line of sight.
Getting eat up by chiggers
they're fucked. They are fucked. They're literally sitting there and they just keep hitting us like, are we doing this soon? Are we doing this soon? I'm like, dude, you'll be fine. Everything's good. We got information that another thing's coming. And then literally, we're talking bags upon bags upon bags, right?
Wow.
So we're sitting there, we're just going, okay, all right.
And so for the folks at home, that's where you have to do as a GS or as the case agent, make a call as to like who you're taking down, when you're taking them down, when's the opportune time. Don't do it too soon. Don't do it too late. And I'm assuming that's kind of what's going on right now because you're like, well, we could take it now, but there's only one load. We got another load coming.
Mm-hmm. Because we knew stuff was coming in, stuff by narcotics was coming in, and we knew we were going to be able to take that off the streets because you can't let dope walk, right? So you're like, I'm going to take that down. So that was easy enough, right? But how do you kill an organization? You take their money, you take their assets, you take their fucking toys. So we were like, no. This is our main key right here. We're staying on this house right now. So the bird would go around every now and then, check it out. Hey, no movement. We're good. I'm like, good. ghillie suit guys. Now, again, we're in South Georgia. It's middle of June.
Oh, man.
Hotter than fuck. So think about that, right? So we're sitting down there.
And it's got to be probably hard to set up on. I imagine it's fairly rural where you're at.
Rural as shit. It was a farmhouse.
Yes, it's like how close can you get in a rental car, or whatever you're driving? You're going to stick out like a sore thumb.
Yeah, you're fucked. So basically, it was a dirt road, and what we did was we would drop them off early in the morning. They would come in, they would go, they would sit, and
you guys in the ghillie suits would walk in.
They would be there for 12-hour shifts, and they would just sit there, watch, and every now and then, every 30 minutes, hey, no activity, and then so there was no activity usually during the day, and at night, boom, every activity would happen. By activity, I mean we would see the duffel bags coming in at a location we were watching 2 miles away, and then from 2 miles, they would drive to the house, and then from the house, they would start stacking money, right? So we'll get to where we knew what they were doing on the back end. So these poor bastards, these fucking ghillie suits, they would be like, we got activity, and they would just let us know what was going on. So we were sitting back. Now, us people that were not in the ghillie suits, we were playing wiffle ball. We were golfing, but we were golfing in the cemetery. Probably not the most religious thing to do, but we were sitting there just going, we got to fucking kill time somehow. So, like, what are we going to do?
Because you're just sitting waiting.
We're doing nothing. Like, literally just going, what are we doing? This is boring. God, this is boring. But it's at 1 or 2 seconds, right? Or 1 or 2 minutes that you have to immediately go into something.
It's time. It's now.
It's now, right?
Yeah, we're going to take this car.
Yes. Yeah. So, but we're sitting back.
And you have to be out of sight. You can't have, however 20 agents there on this dirt road, position at the gas station.
Yep.
The locals would be made aware very quickly. So
100%.
So you guys got to be close enough, but out of sight. So you're literally playing golf in a cemetery.
Yes, we're playing golf, playing wiffle ball. Probably some of the best wiffle ball games I've ever played in my life. It was fun as shit. I'm not gonna lie. It was fucking awesome. So, and then there was a guy from DEA that was there. He played baseball actually at either Mississippi State or Ole Miss. Can't remember which. So we're sitting there, we're throwing and just going around and just dicking around. So then we're like, hey, dude, let's get, dude. All right, so you two against us two. And so the wiffle ball is now becoming like...
It's like a tournament?
Oh, 100%. It's a tournament all day. So we're literally doing a scratch sheet of, okay, well, you scored 3. Okay, we're good. And okay. So we had it was basically like a tournament of the 64 with the NCAA. So we had this little thing going on. So we're doing that. Poor bastards in the fucking ghillie suits. They're doing their thing. So we're listening to radio traffic. So we got the radios over here. We're doing surveillance and we're playing wiffle ball. And other guys are playing golf. And some other guys are, cooking out. So, yes. So
yeah, it's like your own HSI, DEA country club.
100%. That's what we were doing.
You got to do what you got to do.
Yeah,
pass the time.
You got to
The folks don't understand. It's like you are at the mercy of the drug dealer's clock, so to speak. Like, when are they going to deliver the dope?
We call it doper time. You're on doper time. You're 100% on doper time.
You describe doper time.
Doper time is 2 to 3 in the morning time. Mm-hmm. So anywhere between 1 a.m. and maybe 6 a.m. is activity time. That's it. But you have to do surveillance 24/7 because then you sit there on the back end and go, how do you prosecute these people?
Right. Who else is coming to the house? Who's the girlfriend coming in at such and such a time? Oh, here's the mother. Like you think maybe it's just the maid or whatever. No, she's the one kind of stealing or taking the duffel bag out you didn't even realize. So we got to keep eyes on this property the whole time. Plus, the other thing with doper time, correct me if I'm wrong, if you hear on the wire that the drop's going to be at 9 p.m., when is it really?
1 a.m.
Yeah.
100% 1 a.m. So there's no... I will say the only difference in Mexican cartels and Colombian cartels are business people. If 1 p.m. is 1 p.m., it is 12:55.
Nice.
Which is awesome, right? For surveillance purposes, you know what's going to happen. But Mexican cartels, mañana. We'll get there when we get there.
Yeah.
So, fuck it. Don't really care. So
that's why you guys got to play wiffle ball. That's
we
all I was
have
trying
to play a whole lot of wiffle ball. So we're doing surveillance. We're doing our thing. So we're on like day 2, day 3. So we're kind of contemplating, hit the house, not hit the house. So we sit there, we're doing surveillance, and we see this fucking cattle hauler. We're seeing a cattle hauler. What the fuck is this thing doing? Coming in. No cattle for miles. There's no farms around here. Anyway, so I'm sitting there, and I'm just like, what the fuck is this thing doing here? So I look at the case agent, I go, a co-case agent. I said, hey, he goes, that's fucked up. I go, yeah, it's fucked up. ghillie suit guys, poor bastards that haven't had the opportunity to play wiffle ball, haven't had the opportunity to play pitch and putt. So I said, what are you guys seeing? Holy shit, there's a fucking cattle hauler coming in here at 100 miles an hour, and it basically almost flipped.
Oh, wow.
So they whip into this house, and so they come in, they whip around the yard. So I'm like, hey, air asset, what do you got? We got a guy, holy shit, they made marks all over the place. This is fucked up. They're backing into a place in the back. I'm like, all right. So they're loading up.
Might be it, yeah.
They're loading up. I said, we're good. Now I'm thinking, they're loading up. We might be out of here in a couple hours, boys. Not so much. So this is like day 2, maybe day 2.5. So then fast forward, let's get to day 4, because it took them that long to load this money into this cattle hauler.
Wow.
So we're hearing the ghillie suit guys, and they're sitting there just going, hey, they're working on this thing. And you hear it clanking, and they're pushing in shit and all this other stuff, right?
And I'm trying to get the visual too. These are still Mexican cartel guys?
Yes, okay. Mexican cartels, 100% Mexican cartels.
In small town America.
In very small town America. Very small town in Georgia.
Okay.
And our friend, or lack thereof, from the sheriff's office is talking on the phone, do this, do that, do this, do that. So we know now this is legit because he oversaw this. So we knew it was going to happen. So ghillie suit dudes are sitting there and they're telling us, hey, they're loading something into this trailer. So I'm like, all right, perfect. So this went on all through the night into the next day. So then finally they're like, all right, let's go. So they start rolling out. It's fucking hauling ass, dirt's everywhere. Like, and the other thing is though, think about, there was like, I think there was 81 or 79 heads of cattle on this cattle hauler. And then we found out later that basically...
When did they load the cows?
Up in New York.
Oh, before they came down?
Yeah, so then...
Oh, so I was picturing it was empty when they were loading it up.
Yeah, no. So
they brought cows with them.
They brought cows with them. So the cattle hauler comes down from New York with the cattle on it.
Yeah.
But the cattle was on the bottom. There was no cattle on the top. That's clue number 1, right? Because you're like, if you're going to move cattle, you want as many cattle as you can on a hauler. So we're sitting there. So we're seeing this thing come out, right? So we're all sitting up and we're at this gas station. I'll never forget this. This guy makes a wide turn at about, probably should have been doing it at 5 miles an hour, did it like 30. And the amount of shit from the cattle that's been on this thing after we found out for 9 days, literally just all went this way onto the street. So there's shit everywhere. So I'm literally sitting there, then we start surveillance, and I'm just going, oh my God, what the hell's going on here? I'm like, this is going to be a good one. This is going to be entertaining. So we start driving, and we follow this thing down, what was it, 85? I think it's Interstate 85, into a small town again in Georgia. So Georgia State Patrol comes in, we're working with them, and they develop their probable cause, and they figure it out, and they pull the car over. They start talking to the driver. Driver's like, what's up? And the guy's like, hey, dude, anything going on? You know, and they do their thing, and the guy gives them consent to look into the cattle hauler. And this is the biggest thing. The trooper calls me up from the stop and goes, I don't think there's anything in here.
There's shit everywhere.
And I said, brother, I can tell you right now, there's something in that fucking truck. I said, just do me a favor, give it one more once over. I'm telling you right now, there's something in that fucking truck.
And you guys can't go there because you'll burn the case.
Because we're fucked at that point.
We're trying to make this look like a regular, everyday side of the road traffic stop
straight
for
wall
speeding
off.
Or whatever.
Straight wall off. Just we're not involved.
So really counting on this trooper to
100%. So he's like, all right, brother, I'll do it one more time. I said, fucking thank you. So he goes back. He finds a 1 screw, clean as shit, and sits there and goes, that's weird. Goes over, zip, pops the thing back, and a bundle of currency falls out. These 2 dudes that were from Reynosa, Mexico, literally went, oh, shit. They lost their shit. They were like, oh, fuck. They were fucked. They knew right then and there, screwed. So then he let all the cattle out, and then the cattle hadn't eaten in I don't know how many days, they almost ate him on the stop. Like literally, they were like, I want to eat something. So they're just eating. They're everywhere. They're like
on the side of the road.
They're eating grass from the middle of the road, side of the road, everywhere. And that's when we unload all the bolts that they had affixed to the trailer. So they crank all these things out, and then basically it was a winch. So it was a false compartment that ran the entire container of the trailer, which was what, 53 foot? I think 53 foot. It's like,
so between the floor and the ceiling of the upper deck and the lower deck?
Correct.
Just filled with money.
Filled with money. So basically, just picture that with a winch. So he starts cranking the winch. And the money's just falling Bundles, just coming out. Duct taped, everything's coming out. At the end of the day, it turned out to be $13.6 million. So it's I want to say it's still one of the largest money seizures by Georgia State Patrol.
I'm sure the wire's going off right now.
It's going nuts.
People are going,
going crazy.
$13.6 million, we just lost it.
No question about it.
Yeah.
Yes.
And someone's going to die for that probably.
People are dead. Yes, 100%. We heard that on the phone too. People were killed because of that.
Make sure to check us out. We're available on all podcast platforms. Click the link in the bio. Like, share, subscribe. We'll see you on the next one.